Hey, how's it going, everybody? Timothy here. Also Drake Swarm on Magic: The Gathering Online. We're doing another Origins draft. The last one went pretty well. This one we are starting out with not quite as good as the first pick. Last time we had a Tragic Arrogance for our first pick. Here our rare is Despoiler of Souls, and I actually don't think this card's very good, especially not for a rare. The reason being is creatures that can't block I don't think are as valuable, and yeah, it's a big beater, but really realistically you're not going to get it back from the graveyard that many times with its ability, and like the one toughness just means even if you are attacking they can just chump it with anything and it's going to die. I don't think it's that good of a card. What I'm looking at is Reave Soul, Anchor to the Aether, and Gearcrafter as the best cards in the pack. Enshroud and Mists I'm not going to first pick. I think Reave Soul is probably the best card. Maybe Anchor, actually. But that means we're going into blue. I actually don't hate blue as much as most people seem to. But I think I'm going to start off with Reave Soul here, being a cheaper, more effective card usually. I do like Anchor a lot, but we'll start off with the black pick and see what happens. Following that up, this pack's pretty decent as well. Suppression Bonds, probably the pick. Zendikar Incarnate, if that wheel is back around, we'll have a little bit more information about that being open, but not a card I really want to force. Red-green is just a creature combination, but I don't think it's one of the best in this format, so we're going to leave it alone. And Jiraga Invocation, very good card in certain decks, but one I want to pick up when I'm already green, not one I want to go into green for. Trapper also, only another card that you want to already be black-green before you pick it up. Actually, you want to be elves before you pick it up. Otherwise, it's just not that good. Suppression Bonds is the best card. Charging Griffin and Sergeant are okay. And I actually like Undead Servant if I can get at least 3 of them. But you have to start picking them up very early to do that. And I don't know that I want to do that. So let's go ahead and take Suppression Bonds. There's the Great Aurora again. Never fails to show up in a draft. Right now, couple picks here. I do like Necromantic Summons, but I don't think it's like that awesome. Especially in black, you end up with a lot of 5-drops, I think. Cards like Unholy Hunger that are better than Necromantic Summons, so it usually gets cut. I think Acolyte's the best card in the pack. I could either take that and kind of hedge my colors a little bit, or I could take Fetid Imp and stick with the black. And I think Acolyte is good enough of a card that I kind of want to stay open a little bit. I can probably get another Fetid Imp. Other than that, Sergeant would be fine. Timberpack Wolf would be just okay. Yeah, I'm going to hedge a little bit here. Willbreaker. This pack seems good. I do like Willbreaker. Some people hate it. Some people love it. What's open right now? Green is gone, so that's worth noting. There's no green in this pack. Celestial Flare, Fiery Conclusion, Consecrated by Blood, or whatever this card is called. Yeah, by Blood. Nantuko Husk, all good cards. Fiery Conclusion, I think people really underrate. And Willbreaker, taking this early, we can kind of build around it. And blue doesn't get taken too often. I wish I had taken the Anchor, but we also don't have anything to really break Willbreaker yet. But I am going to take Willbreaker. Again, staying open. Nothing too decisive there. And then this pack, we could take Leaf Gilder and see what happens there, but we're not going to. Cards I'm looking at. This is actually just a really bad rare, and Majoring Network's a really bad uncommon. Murder Investigation, also not that good, and a Crowan Jailer is good with Willbreaker, but not a card I ever really want. Nantuko Husk or Subterranean Scout are the best ones. Nantuko Husk is the better card, but Scout does go with Will Breaker quite well. I don't know that we really need to do that. I think I'm going to take Husk here. And there's no blue in this pack. That's worth noting. Yeah, let's go and take Husk and see. I like Husk quite a bit. Alright, following that up, we have Sigil, which isn't a card you should be playing very often. Cards I would be interested in, Shambling Ghoul and Prickle Boar. Send to Sleep, not great unless you're activating Spell Mastery consistently, although it is good with Will Breaker. But we're looking, I think I'm leaning away from blue right now just because the last pack didn't have any, and Send to Sleep is the only blue in this pack. Probably Shambling Ghoul. It leaves us lower, and I think Prickle Boar, I don't want to like solidify myself in red right now, whereas black looks like I'm getting at least enough playables from it. So let's go ahead and take this Shambling Ghoul as an early drop aggressive card, and follow that up with either Skyraker or Deadbridge. Skyraker is defense against flying. It's also just an okay card. Deadbridge goes with Nantuko Husk pretty well. The pick is definitely between these two. And again, I'm not forcing red here, so let's just stay on color with this Deadbridge Shaman. It's looking like we're definitely going to be black, but we have some flexibility towards our second color. Red does seem like it's open. But right now, that's what we've got. And then we follow up with kind of nothing really decent here. None of these cards are really that awesome. Black pairs well with blue. And if we're going to play a more controlling game, we could do Clash of Wills, which I've found to be a pretty decent card. Screech and Scab as a 2-drop is okay as well. There are some graveyard synergies there. I'm going to take Clash of Wills. And next, probably Rune Servitor. Just as a 2-drop. Kythian's Tactics, no way. Fairy Miscreant, I feel like it's a trap. I don't think the card's that good. Unless you're packing like 4 of them, and then it's just okay. It's like Elvish Visionary with flying, which would just be a okay card. I think people value Fairy Miscreant a lot higher than they should. Okay. Probably Negate here. I don't see a reason to take the Trapper. I didn't see any elves could take the Veteran Sidearm. I'll take Negate. Throw it in the sideboard for now. Follow that up with, I guess, Stratus Walk for the sideboard. Yeah. And then I guess like neither of these cards are great, but probably just the Thornbow Archer. Maybe we can do something with that here. These cards are both pretty miserable. We'll put Murder Investigation in sideboard here in sideboard. I think I'm more likely to splash for Suppression Bonds than I am for Acolyte. So this first pack doesn't look amazing. I'm definitely black. I can move around my second color. Here we open Tainted Remedy is unplayable. In blue, there's 2 very mediocre cards. Fleshbag is a kind of a controlling card, and I do like it. There are some matchups where it's very poor, but I think it's the pick. Goldforge Sentinel would be a decent topper. And that's really about it. Might of the Masses is a good card, but we have no green yet. I'll take Fleshbag and look to play kind of a blue-black controlling deck. Again, not forcing blue yet. Nice low curve right now, but I do need to pick up something on the high end. I would like to see some Unholy Hungers. Maybe an Evolving Wild so I can splash this Suppression Bonds if I need to. Some Claustrophobias would be nice. Well, wow. I think so. My opponent definitely timed out there because a common was taken out of this pack. There are 3 uncommons. There's Mana Gorger Hydra and there's Liliana, and there's no way he willingly took a common over anything here. This is really sweet. Liliana is very good with cards like Fleshbag Marauder and Nantuko Husk, and Mana Gorger is also just terrifying card to play against. But I'm not going to pass this foil Liliana, which I'm sure is worth money. Wow. I feel bad for the opponent sitting to the left of us because he passed me this on accident, but it's definitely the pick. What a ridiculous pack. Here, I'm looking at Reef Soul again. Looks like we can play a really early game. We'll actually, like, right now, I'm leaning towards mono black. Like, this blue is definitely not 100% yet, and as long as I can keep picking up black playables, I'm going to. I think Reef Soul is still better than Fetid Imp. So I will go ahead and pick it. Next up, we could do Coldblade, which I think I mentioned it last time. It's not a card I love. Dark Dabbling is okay, but not great. Caves, no, I don't want Caves. Although Caves would let me splash Suppression Bonds for free. Shaman, I think I'd rather splash white for that than green for Shaman. And then there's also Send to Sleep, which needs some sort of consideration in my deck because it looks like I do kind of want to be aggressive. I think I'm leaning towards Caves here, and I would like to pick up an Evolving Wilds. That way I can put 1 Plains in the deck and happily put Suppression Bonds in. Caves is unexciting, but the next best card is probably Coldblade or Automaton, and I don't love those. So we'll remember we have that. Follow that up. There's good red in the pack. Is there anything we want to kind of hop back into red for? Call of the Full Moon can be a very good card in some situations. And I guess Acolyte, if I'm looking to be really aggressive, and I have Nantuko Husk, I can try to move into like the black-red sacrifice deck. So we put the Acolyte back in. We take, say, either any of these red cards are good, and they're better than, I do like Weight of the Underworld just fine. This is kind of, it seems like the type of deck that wants Call of the Full Moon. I'm going to try it out. It's not a card I usually love, but there you have it. Wow, some good considerations here too. Eyeblight Massacre, not really the deck that wants it, but it can be a sweeper against some other decks. I think Seismic Elemental is just better, especially when you can Seismic Elemental a turn and then just kind of win with Nantuko Husk if you have the board set up. It's also just a good high-end card. You can win games with it. I think it's better than Eyeblight Massacre, especially since most of my creatures die to Massacre. And then there's also Skyraker, but Seismic Elemental's better. Red is definitely open in this direction, but I forget whether it's open in the other direction or not. I wasn't really paying attention too much. I think it was fine. We could take Battlefield Forge here, play red-black, and then have a free white splash off Suppression Bonds. The only other cards I'd be willing to take out of this pack are Vial or Coldblade, and Coldblade is just okay. I think I'm happy doing that. It's a free splash for Suppression Bonds. Not one we can search for, though. Macabre Waltz is a card that I like in decks with Nantuko Husk. It also gets back Liliana if it dies, and it can get back cards we're discarding. I do like that. Let's reserve Macabre Waltz. Kind of look where we're at right now. Pretty low aggressive deck. Do need a high-end kill spell though. Do need like Unholy Hunger. I would like Shadows of the Past. Macabre Waltz I will play. Prickle Boar. Yeah. Prickle Boar goes well with Seismic Elemental if you can follow up Prickle Boar with the Elemental the next turn. Worth noting, Suppression Bonds will kind of take the place of a removal spell, but it's not as reliable since we'll only have 2 white sources. Rogue's Passage seems pretty good here. Titan's Strength could be fine. I don't love Titan's Strength, and I like Dark Dabbling just fine. Probably cut Dark Dabbling though. That second pack went really well. Really crazy that we got past those 2 cards, which again I feel bad for the guy to my left, but not that bad. Pack 3, we're looking to get removal. We have room in the 4-drop. I wouldn't mind one of those 4/3 reachers. We have 1, 2, 3 creatures to play. This is a good one. It's a very good one. Is it the best card in the pack to take? Boggart Brute I would be fine with. Orbs of Warding I don't believe is great. In fact, I don't believe it's good in limited. Husk number 2 would be okay. Blazing Hellhound seems actually really good, and I'm looking to pick up something like Fiery Conclusion or Active Treason, something to make my sack outlets really just kind of cool. But this card's very good if you're already red-black. Wow. Good uncommons. Ooh, Fiery Impulse, yes. I will take Impulse here. Good early removal. I would also be happy with Eyeblight Assassin or, I guess, Return Centaur. Return Centaur is actually a lot better in this format than it was in Theros, just because there are graveyard synergies, and the 4 toughness blocks quite a bit. Fiery Impulse is definitely the pick, though. Follow that up. Dark Petition's not usually a good card. I don't think I want it here. So there is a second Suppression Bonds. There's a Dragon Fodder, which is good with Fleshbag Marauder. It's good with Husk. It's good with Blazing Hellhound. There's Fire Fiend Elemental, which is just a stronger card than Dragon Fodder. It looks like I'm a little frozen here. So my considerations are between Suppression Bonds, Dragon Fodder, Fire Fiend Elemental, and I think I'm going to rule out Dark Petition. Do I take the second Suppression Bonds? No, I think I'm going to take Fodder. I don't love it, but I think it does work. There we go. Oh, wow. This pack has both the black kill spells, but Cruel Revival can actually get back Marauder and Nantuko Husk. And Shambling Ghoul. And it's actually just better than Unholy Hunger, because I think getting the creature back is better than gaining the 2 life. Other than that, I would be happy with Subterranean Scout. It's a card that's pretty good usually. But this is kind of what I'm looking for, so I'll take it. Here, wow, Sigiled Starfish still in the pack. It's kind of a sign. Also, Topin Freeblade. I don't think my White Splash is good enough that I want this 2-drop. Even though it is, wow, Claustrophobia 2. This pack is just kind of crazy. Magmatic Insight is not a card I love. Infectious Bloodlust, also very mediocre. In this deck, do I want Infectious Bloodlust, though? Maybe not. Even though I think it's better than... I'll take this Free Blade. Maybe we play it. Wow, what the heck? Oh, man. That is surprising. I can't play it. Double blue, no way. But to see Starfish followed by Whirler Rogue, which if I was still on the Will Breaker plan, Whirler Rogue is insane card by itself, but even crazier when you have Will Breaker because you just get to steal a thing every turn. Anyway, for me, I'm looking between Majoring Bully and Read the Bones. Don't be fooled, Read the Bones is not as good as it was in Theros. I think it is better here than Majoring Bully, but it's really not a 3-drop. To be honest, like, you need to already have a board presence to make Read the Bones good, otherwise you're just going to get smacked around. But Necromantic Summons can be very good. This is pack 3, so the Servant Dream is over. The second Thornbow Archer is not good. And take a second to consider Cobble Brute here. But I think we're good on the high end. Cobble Brute, though, with Seismic Elemental and Fire Impulse. I have 11 creatures. I'll take a creature here. Ooh, Active Treason. As opposed to Fire Fiend Elemental, though. Well, I do have Flesh Bag and Blazing Hellhound, so Active Treason is good in this sort of deck. Fire Fiend is not a card I think is that amazing, but it is a good card. I will take Active Treason. And then here we just kind of get garbagey cards. Meteorite. Could splash for Suppression Bonds as well. I'll put it in the sideboard. Against very slow decks, it could be good. Let's go and see what... Centaur's not bad. And then here, wow, Void Mage still in the pack. 4th to last is kind of weird. Oh, I'll take the Scout. Take this Dabbling. And then Maritime Guard. Okay. So I like what we've got so far. I also like that we get to put Suppression Bonds in our deck for free. I don't know. I think we made the right move going into red, and we definitely got rewarded with Blazing Hellhound, Seismic Elemental. We get to play our Acolyte. But I think missing out on that Whirler Rogue and the Starfish was actually... Well, I mean, we couldn't have expected that, but kind of crazy. I do like what the deck looks like so far, but we do need to kind of trim it down. Where's Dark Dabbling's definitely out. If my opponent has like Chandra's Ignition or something, I'll put it in. But we're not as creature heavy as we'd like to be. What you doing there, Servitor? Okay, sort. Alright. I do like Rogue's Passage, especially with Nantuko Husk. So if we move these 3 cards out, we're looking at 25. Thornbow Archer might be on the chopping block. Call of the Full Moon might be on the block. Dragon Fodder is technically a creature, so it's really like 15. Return Centaur. Probably not the deck for it, right? You really only want to... Return Centaur on your opponent doesn't do very much. And Return Centaur on yourself, you really only want to do if you have a lot to do with it. Like, I mean, I have Cruel Revival and Macabre Waltz, but I don't know that that's really that amazing. Don't love Cobble Brute, but Cobble Brute is good with Rogue's Passage. It is good with Seismic Elemental. It's good with Call of the Full Moon. It's done 8-4 smashy. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures before turn 1, or before, sorry, during turn 1 and 2. So I could lose Thornbow Archer. It's just a very bad card late in the game. And even though I wouldn't have a 1-drop, I would still have 1, 2, 3 removal spells before turn 1. Or, geez, 3 removal spells on turn 2, and then a slew of other creatures. It's going to be an attrition match. We don't have anything like ridiculous to play around, but I think the deck's good. So let's go ahead and cut Thornbow Archer, which would be very good on turn 1. If you can like turn 1 Thornbow into turn 2 Call of the Full Moon, like game over, but I don't see that happening. I like this. It's pseudo-aggressive. It has good win conditions. It gets a free suppression bonds, which I think is awesome. Meteorite, I'll bring in if my opponent's playing nothing but X2s. But let's go ahead and go by color now. And that's an even red-black split. None of these cards really change it. I guess I want... It's a little awkward. So we do 7 and 7. We have 17 lands total with 8 black sources, 8 red sources, and 2 white sources. Also Rune Servitor and where is it? Read the Bones to draw into extra cards. I like it. Let's go ahead and add 7 and 7. No, I don't want the plains. If I had Evolving Wilds, I would want a plains, but I don't. And this looks pretty sweet. Yeah, alright. Well, I'm going to go ahead and submit, and I will see you guys in round 1. Thanks for watching. I'll be right back.